Oh, thank you for the invitation. Hello, everyone. I hope you enjoy the heat right now in Italy. I'm right now in Germany. Also, there's a hot weather because of a family issue, because a few days ago my mom died, so I had to take care a little bit. And I will bring her over to South Africa because she was living there and died now in Germany. And I will bring the ashes to South Africa because her last wish was always to be with the animals in the Kruger Park. So she is gone, but the ashes will go there. So therefore, I'm still a little bit busy, so I couldn't assist to the event, to the festival. But let's start and get to the core, as you mentioned. In the last years, I could always found out where's the problem, why people do not understand living, because you do not understand actually everything what's surrounding you. So I have here a small presentation, very small, that you get the complete understanding about quantum physics, about mind, about consciousness. Because when this is not clear, mind and consciousness, then you are driving in circles and thinking and thinking and thinking. But in the end, you have to find out you have to think. Or everything when you think is useless. It's sorry when I say it directly, but therefore, compare share screen. Let's see if it works. You have to disable the function for me. Otherwise, I start and telling it by words. For me, it's easier, but when you have some pictures, then it's much easier.
One moment, we'll have it done.
About go away. I'm still here. Okay. Let's see if it works. Then that's only my screen, what you see. But where's it? Over here. Yeah.
Yes, we see it. Wonderful.
Now widescreen. Perfect. So you hear me? Everything is okay because I have seen nothing. I only have the widescreen.
Yes, it's working perfectly.
Okay.
We see
Then first we have to understand. Ego mind, universal mind, and the consciousness, because otherwise you always turn around and around and looking for, searching for. But so let's get started. We know what we are living in around three-dimensional area. That's the physical, the space, and one is the linear, is the time. So a four-dimensional world. Our world is four-dimensional. But more nor less four-dimensional. See, beside that, we have a time plane that's actually shared. That's the fifth dimension. That's the fourth dimension. That's actually the present. And then we have the fifth dimension. That's actually only information. Everything what's happened in this world will be stored in one database. You can call it database. And everything what happened and actually also what will happen in the future or what happened in the past will be stored over there. Okay, you follow me? And then we have the sixth dimension. That's actually your true consciousness, and where's the ocean of infinite possibilities. That means that when I access the information, then I can calculate the best future for myself. That's very easy, that you can actually see by babies. because babies without, actually babies with moms with no interest. It's actually, you can see in several tribes. I have, we can recommend a book who's describing it. Babies can't get hurt. They won't touch fire. They won't touch a knife, and then they won't get in any danger for themselves. Why? Because you are still in your full consciousness. When you are in your full consciousness as baby, that you are in your true self knows where's the danger. Your true and can calculate by itself the future. So by it should take, then there you can ask yourself, why humanity always has to burn itself. Babies won't hurt themselves. Only when you start to getting bigger by ego mind. Because that's the perfect status. It's actually your true consciousness, your soul is using this playground. Okay, you follow me? But sooner or later, there's something growing. And that's actually your ego. When somebody is telling you, you are that or that, you are Marcus, you are John, you are that, what you see in the mirror. And by that, you create your own mind, your ego mind, something isolated of the universal mind. And when you isolate yourself, then you have to do your own experience again. You understand what I'm saying? But this experience makes actually no sense, because ego is an illusion, and also what you think is an illusion. So your experience makes for nobody any sense. So the only experience you can do or should do is your soul. But your soul is now a little bit enslaved or encaved in the ego mind. So actually your thinking is actually when you feed actually the jailer of your soul. Meanwhile, you start thinking, who is thinking? The guy who you are not. And who you are is enslaved or encircled or enjailed. You understand what I'm talking about? Let's follow up. So there are two forms of manifestation. That's very important. That's basic. That's your true self with the universal mind and with a certain intention comes here to play. That's the only sense to be here, to play, to make you the experience of your true self, not the experience of your ego. That's two different things, and that's very important. Otherwise, you get confused and you think you do have to do an experience. You know, your soul maybe. So when you have your ego, then with your ego mate plus some emotions, then you cause cancer, for example. So that's the great confusion. You as ego are illusion. Reacting by your emotions, that actually are illusion. So what you manifestate is actually an illusion. And this illusion makes no sense at all. No sense. Only your true self can make or have an experience. That's very important. Everybody knows it, but then by your thinking, by your under control of your movements and everything else, be like child. That's actually the true freedom, to be like a child. So let's switch back again to the Zoom. Where we are over here. Then you're still there. Over there is it. Ready? Yeah. Now I'm in the full screen again. So that's basic. That's very, very important, because when I do not understand my point of view of manifestation, then I'm always manifestate something of my mind, but my mind is a product of my surrounding. And for example, what you think, for example, of food, of drinking, of eating, from whom comes the idea of food? Actually, from your parents. So you are actually programmed by the idea of others with your mind. And so now you handle everything by your mind, but this mind, what you think you are, is actually a full programmed robot. You working or serving as a robot. And encircle or enslave actually your soul. That's actually very simple. So what I have to do now, when I know I'm actually the slave master or the slave, what do I say? The jailer or the jail keeper of my soul. So what I should do? Nothing, absolutely nothing. And that's the big problem in humanity. Everybody wants to do something. When you start to doing, who's doing something? Actually, the robot. You have to do nothing, absolutely nothing. And that's it's the biggest problem I have ever seen lately, because everybody's busy, everybody's thinking, because you do not have to think, because your soul has the access, what I try to explain, the access to the universal mind, where everything is stored, everything what happened in the last, I don't know how million years. So why I have to repeat? Why I have to repeat the same thing like my neighbor? Makes that sense? Makes no sense. Because when we are one soul, when one soul makes one experience, then it's done. Okay, why I have to repeat? Why I'm repeating it? When I see everybody, or when I'm in front of somebody, he is actually my soulmate. Not soulmate that you understand with as a relation. No, soulmate. Everybody is our soulmate because it's only one soul. So when one made already the experience, why I should make I should have to do the same experience or make the same experience? Why? Makes no sense. And that you can actually see by babies and actually by animals, because a horse, for example, in the past, once a horse touched fire, and so every horse from now on knows fire is danger and will never touch fire. Why do humans touch fire? Makes that sense? No, because you're thinking you are isolated, and that's your ego mind. You're thinking you're something separated from something, from the whole soul that we are. That's actually quantum physics. So the other issue I'd like to explain is energy, because when you are weak or when you are a little bit lazy, then you always say, "Oh, I need more energy," and then you start to drinking or whatever, and then energy is only can happen in the physical world, outside the physical, because energy means you need masses, and also you need space. Out of space and time, there is no energy. So please, that's basic physics. So don't get confused of anything else. Basic physics. And outside of this time and space, there's only information. And when you, for example, when I'm lifting up my hand, that means what actually happens to activate our muscles. I need protein. Protein is actually enzyme. It's enzyme. You say it in English. I don't know. And this is actually proteins, but these proteins actually not come from food. These proteins you generate. That's other issue. But these proteins get activate your muscles by changing their molecular structure. I think it's a molecular structure. And how it change the molecular structure? When you change the atoms. the atoms. Atoms. And how you can change atoms? You change it by only changing the spin of the electron. And how you change it? By your mind, what you think. That's not something you have to ingest. That's only information. By the information of your mind, then you can lift up your arm or whatever. And that's actually the movement. And that's not that you need energy. Energy is actually only information. Nothing more, nothing less. So it's very, actually, I don't know if you have seen or you're going to see the movie. In the beginning, there's light. In the end, when they go to the part of quantum physics, they're explaining everything about also the mind, that everything is information.
Yes, we screened this film just the other night here at the festival.
Oh, perfect. And you already understand what I'm talking about. So it should be easy, but I always see that nobody understands mind. Mind is something outside of the physical world. So outside of the fourth dimension. So actually the fifth dimension is information. It's the only database, and the future is actually the possibility. And when you are in your fully consciousness, then you always get your perfect future that you can see in babies, or when somebody is in his soul, because the soul has the access for the best future for you. That's actually what a lot of spiritual leaders try to bring you or to send you to, that you start to think nothing. That's actually the point. You do not have to think nothing. By thinking nothing, or not get in control of everything what you think you are, in this moment your soul take the control over, and then everything flows. So therefore you only have to do nothing at all. I hope that's the first beginning. Okay, you follow up. It's actually very easy and very simple. You as soul, or some being, I don't know, or you are whatever you want to call it, you as true being that you can see in your body every time. Yeah, in every minute they're dying about 1 million cells. Who is replacing it, or who is replacing them? Who? You are not doing it. You're too slow. So some power, some consciousness, and some information is manifesting this perfectness, what you see in the mirror. And you are not a product of something physical. You are a manifestation of the perfectness, what you really are. You're a light being. So the light being manifests in this illusion to play. That's the only sense of this living here, to play, to be like childs. Actually, children show us to live. They show us as well not eating. They show us as well not working, because money makes no sense, food makes no sense, and searching for love makes no sense. So there is actually our main problem in humanity. Because when you're depending on food, depend on money, you depend or search for love, then there will never ever freedom. Because this is a dependency. When you search for something or crave for something, then you depend on this. So it's very easy. When you're depending on food, then you're depending on the drug dealer next to the corner, your supermarket. And then there's no freedom. That's very important to understand. And when you depend on money, then there's no freedom. And you depend or search for love. That means when you too attached to somebody, you hold somebody, or maybe mainly it's your family. You're holding up your family, then because of searching for love, then there's no freedom. There will never ever be freedom. And the worst part of it The worst part of it, when you're depending on something, you're not in peace. And when you are not in peace, the world can't be in peace. There's no peace in the world when I'm not in peace. And I can't be in peace when I'm depending on something. So I have always to look forward on what I depend. Depending on food, depending on money, depending on searching for love. That's actually the responsibility to be human. And therefore, I'm inviting everybody to be free of money, free of, because that's the most ridiculous is actually searching for love. Because you're a light being. A light being is love. So it's like a fish searching for water. Makes no sense. But you're craving for love in your relationship, in your family. Oh, that's very important. When you search for love, there will never ever peace in this world. When you search for food, there will never ever peace. And when you search for money, there is no peace. So everybody wants peace, everybody is crying for peace, but you have to understand where is actually war come from. When I'm not in peace with myself. Because I'm searching, you have to understand, the most wars were done by religion or by believing or by searching for love. Unconsciously, of course. Okay, you're following up. It's very easy. It's not very complicated. The next step. Therefore, we have to understand why I'm eating. It's because money, it's very easy. And life, you have to understand, is also very easy. You're a loving being, but as you search love because you were taught to search love. That's actually what you have learned, searching love. Because your parents are searching for love, then they teach you searching for love. That's easy. But from the moment that you understand it, I'm love, and you love, then you will stop searching for love in a relationship or whatever, or in your family. That's actually very easy, at least for me. Then the next step is money. Money is only a tool, but you have to understand money. Money is only a tool to generate slavery. That's the only sense of money. And when you crave for more money, then you create poverty. That's so easy. And everybody wants more money. So you create more poverty. It's very simple. That's a tool for the system. So, but you have to understand, when I have, for example, 100 euro, 100 euro, I have 100 euro. So somebody else has a debt of 100 euro. So easy. And when I have more money, then there are more people having debts. So it's very easy to understand. Actually, that's the trap of the money. So actually, you should share everything what you have, and be trustful. Tomorrow is another day. Tomorrow you will have enough, but you do not trust. That's the big issue as well. You only trust on your bank account, or you trust only what I have in my pocket. But when you have made the experience that with nothing you're actually free. Actually, I can, when you can remember in the movie, how were the monks called in of the Jains? They are also walking naked, with no money, with nothing, and they are happy. Happiness comes from no possession, because then I'm free. When I have possession of whatever, then I want to care it for me, and then I try to protect it. Clear, very easy. And then we go to the food. Food. Why I'm eating? Eating as well is what you were taught. Your parents taught you to eat, and they taught you to the mystery of nutrition. There is no true nutrition. Nutrition do not exist. It's very easy to understand. When nutrition would exist, why you need a bathroom? Why you need a toilet? For what purpose? But everything what you put in your mouth, you later on you bring it to whatever place you want to be. That's it. And everybody always tell me, and the nature, in nature they eat. The nature is actually something much more perfect and much more. I can't express it. It is so beautiful because when you see the birds actually do not digest any food. They eat it and then spread actually the seed. That's the sense of nature. Nature is balancing actually the playground where we are. That's nature. And we can be in there, but not enslaved in there. When you're enslaved like an addict, then there's no free playground. We come here to play freely and then enjoying it. But you can't enjoy something when you're an addict. Only when you're free, then you can enjoy something. So you eat mainly because we're taught. So you're thinking, you believe. It's your believing. You believe you need food. But okay, I will telling you even if because when you have seen the movie The Last Days, what actually happened in the movie? The most people over there, or at least all I have seen, you're still there? Yeah, there. They only switched believing. First, I believe I need food, and the next step, I believe I live on prana, or I living on light, or I have to do a certain exercise. But when you think that makes no sense for me, we come to this, or we manifest us in this playground, and we manifest it as with certain slavery, with certain dependency that makes no sense. We were born here free, and we go free if you want, because you're a free soul, more or less. So I'm talking too fast, or everything is running well. So going back to the food. So why you are eating? First, believing it. That's clear. You're believing it because you were taught it by your parents, and then it gets over to a habit, and then to the habit you're going to be an addict. And from the moment you stop eating, what you feel actually it's a symptoms of abstinence. That's all that you called hunger or appetite or whatever. And in the end, it's only the process when your body or when your body starts to healing itself. That's very, very beautiful. That's actually homeostasis. And that same thing, homeostasis, I can see everywhere. Like I mentioned in the nature, that's homeostasis, something get balanced. There will be never ever overrated, what do you say? Too much animals of one kind. It will be always balanced. And when the climate change or everything changed on the planet, then the adaptation comes by its own. It's perfect. It's so nice and lovely to see. And the same thing happens to you. You intoxicate your body, and from the moment you stop stimulating your body, because there's only stimulation, then your body starts to healing itself. That's called homeostasis, and that's very nice. So it's simple. So you do not need any medications, any treatment, nothing at all. Only relax, understand the cause of your intoxication, and then your body is healing itself by its own. And that's what you see on this second point. Then now the third point, it's the most difficult part that you have seen in the movie as well. Most of them going back to eat. Because when you do not understand why you're eating, then there's no going out or relief for it. You have to understand why you're eating. So the first 2 points are clear. The last one is the most difficult part. You eat emotionally. That's your emotion. That actually, when you're under stress, then you're searching for a big hug for your mom. Yeah, when your mom says, "Oh, you're doing well," and this relation to it, because your mom is not nearby, so you open your fridge and then take out whatever you want. That's your stimulation. You're searching for love, and that's you have to understand. And when you not switch your life, when you do not, I'm too fast. Sorry. Hope I can follow up. Okay, and then you're searching for love by food, because it's the relation to your family. You crave for love. You crave for a big hug or whatever. And then, so when you do not, when you haven't resolved or dissolved the issue why you are addicted, then you have to switch the addiction. For example, now you leave food, then you start with cigarettes, or you start with meditation, or you start with doing something that calms down this anxiety. Because searching for love is actually fear to have not enough love. And fear is anxiety. Very easy to understand. So, and you can't be happy. That's also very easy to understand, because you are illusion. That means, as I started to, your ego is trained to search for love, and your ego can't give love. An ego can only give or share what he has experienced or what his thinking is. That means you share with your partner or with your loving beings the love you have learned, and that's actually conditional love, because the ego only can give conditional love. And condition means a condition. It's not free love. It's for free. No, I give you something, but I'm waiting for the answer, and that's where you are living it. So you can't give love. So therefore, you're searching constantly for love. But it's a wrong idea. It's only an idea in your mind, because you're thinking you're separate. When you start to feel the connections with everybody, then there's peace, then there's balance, then there's no anxiety. But from the moment you're thinking you're separate, and that's mainly your thinking, then it starts coming up anxiety, because you live a life that's not yours. Because living means your soul have an intention on this playground. And that's when you're fully in peace, in harmony, and balanced. But when you're in ego, then you follow up ideas, use expectations, or whatever. And that causes anxiety. And then to calm down anxiety, I need a drug. Very easy. And your favorite drug is, I can see it, maybe I can see it in the background. There is still the kitchen. That's where you get your drug. That's not your stimulation. You have to understand, nutrition do not exist, because it's like a watermelon. I have explained it several times, but only observe how your body reacts. Your body reacts by stimulation. And that you can see by any addict. When you get your stimulation, then you feel high. Then you feel high and you feel with energy. But when you smoke pot, then it's the same thing, the same reaction. And then you feel high, I can fly, but it's only stimulation. But the big point is why I search for stimulation. Because I'm unhappy. Because I live a life that's not mine. I do not live the life of my soul. I live a life of ideas of others. I live a life of a robot programmed. And a robot can't be happy. That's actually the sense of a robot. Be unhappy and keep you addicted. And you are the robot. You are the addicted. And I know it's a little bit hard when I say it so directly, but I invite always not to believe me. I always invite you to observe, to understand what's actually happening. So when you understand everything what I have said right now, then you should be free very easily. And you should say, okay, on Monday morning or when I'm going back, then I will actually cut off my job, cut off my bank account, cut off even relations that I do not feel well. But you won't do it. Why you won't do it? You're fearful. Fear of who is fearful or who has fear? Fear of what? It's very important to understand why there is no change in the world right now. Actually, that's what I always observing lately. It's because the fear of take the responsibility of my own. I always expecting with a bigger bank account, I feel safe. With full fridge, there I can drug myself anytime I want when there comes anxiety. Or I have my partner beside me and he is distracting me all the time. You have to understand life. Life is different. It's much more beautiful than you because you're living right now. You have the idea of living, and you can observe it. Why you need distraction all the time? The main distraction right now is your cell phone. Why am I watching my cell phone? It's only a screen. Makes no sense to watch a screen. Watch nature, that makes sense. But watching a screen, you watch your screen waiting for something over there. And actually you're waiting for love. Somebody who is answering me. Yeah, it's very, most of you will say, oh, what is he telling? It's very, very deep. The confusion of humanity. The search for love is it's tremendous in everybody. And you have to understand and observe who is searching for love. Because your love, the soul you are, won't search for love. Makes no sense. I'm love. What purpose I should search for love? It's nonsense. But you're searching for love. And then in this moment, you have to understand that's not me who is searching. That's the robot, that's the program I was programmed, and so on. You follow up. Life is very easy and beautiful. I'm enjoying it. Even when I mentioned earlier that my mom died, but it's for me it's no difficult because it's only the avatar. It's only the clothes. We changing clothes. That's it. There's no big deal. And there's never ever will be a separate state between you, everybody over there, or my mom or my family. There's no separation. It's only an idea. And when you can feel this uniteness, this union, then everything else what happens in this illusion passing by very easily, and you're playing it. You start playing again, living, because that's the sense. Living is playing. Everything else is confusion. And of course, your ego is confused because you are programmed, and so on. So coming back to food, because we are in a Pranic center over there, in a Pranic festival. So it's very important about food. So nutrition do not exist. So you do not have to accept it. You only have to observe why you're eating. When you understand your eating and your habit and why you're eating, then you can dissolve it. Otherwise, by switching believing, you're still attached. And there's no freedom for your soul. Believing means you keep alive the jailkeeper. You should stop believing and believe in nothing. Nothing at all. Nothing. Because who is believing? is the guy who you are not. So it makes no sense to believe. Always I remind everybody, observe children. Children believe in God, or children believe in tomorrow or whatever. No, they live the moment. Because the only true living is the moment. Nothing else is everybody knows it, but the most of forgot that everything. You have to remind you every day what I'm doing. Why I'm not happy. What happened? Why I'm starving for food? Why I'm so anxious? When you are still in tapping it or covering it with food or cell phone or distractions, you will never relieve your soul. And actually, that's what I like to invite you to relieve your soul, that you live a life from your soul, not from your ideas. That's true freedom. Anything else is only talking about it. And that's what your soul is actually your true consciousness. So also when you hear people always talking about to get a bigger consciousness, to amplify consciousness, or your consciousness, it's like I'm searching for more love. Your love. So it makes no sense to search consciousness because you're already consciousness. So the idea of amplifying consciousness is actually it's actually the trap to get to free consciousness. The more you think, the bigger is, or the bigger you inflate actually your ego, the bigger is the jailkeeper, the jail of your soul. So therefore, I recommend do nothing first. Do nothing. Do not think in nothing, desire nothing, and follow nobody. It's very important because mostly people try to follow up his savior or whatever, or believe in another religion. Why? When you have understood, actually, this is a whole playground to play. When it's a playground to play and observe children like in a sandbox. In the sandbox, when you play in a sandbox, children talk about religion or talking about whatever. They're playing. And actually, this is our playground where we are to play, but you forgot to play. Of course, because the program you got with your ego is with an idea of progress, of evolution, of searching to get enlightenment or whatever nonsense they're selling you. You're an enlightened being. So what sense makes enlightenment? Your soul knows everything, so hand it over. Hand it over the steering wheel to your soul and go to the back seat and enjoy the ride. That's perfect. And do not control nothing. Okay, that's actually the main thing. We can go deeper in different types and areas, but for the how is time going? More or less, because we'll leave a little bit for questions. So the end phrase or the end chapter. It's because now I confronted you with a lot of issues, and then you say, "Oh, and then what? What I should do?" You're getting crisis. So you have to understand how is humanity actually living. The only form of living as human is living in tribes. That means in communities. The community shouldn't be more than 80 people. That's actually the life or the living of a human being. Therefore, we have to go back to tribal living or tribal life. That's actually the sense, because we came from there, and we came from there happily, and now we are going to in a direction there is no happiness. You can see it. There's nobody's happy. because we are living something that's artificial. Now there's even worse with the idea of what is it, 15 minutes or whatever. That's nonsense starting about. Even worse. And also technology. Why we need technology? Why I need a cell phone? You have to ask your questions. Please start asking your questions. It's very important. Question yourself, question everything what you're thinking, everything what you read, everything what you listen right now, questioning everything. It's very important because we have to go back to the tribal life because it's actually freedom. Because when we have this life that we're living right now, our attention is always outside. Everything is outside. We live a life with attention, with distraction around us. But actually, when you live in a tribe, everybody cares to everybody, and everybody protects everybody. Then there's no father, there's no mother. Everybody is a soulmate. Everybody shares everything, and then when there's no main attention to the outside world, then you can go inside. That's actually our living. We are light beings, and when we should work inside in this world, watching inside. That's the actual sense of it. So you can evolve in this playground, not by outside. Maybe you can see outside this what you called evolution is only manipulation. I would say that's no evolution, because what sense, as I mentioned, makes a cell phone or even reading and writing? I question you right now very deep. What sense makes it reading and writing right now? Makes actually no sense when you are in your soul. When you understand what I was telling you in the beginning, you have access to all database of the universe, whatever ever happened. Why I should have to read? Why I have to know, get knowledge? Makes that sense? No. You learn how to read and write for what purpose? You can see it right now. To use this one. But now this one is controlling you. And then you know freedom. So reading, writing makes actually no sense. Because when you're in a tribe, the communication is with very less words. It's a communication more inside, not a communication outside. To tell and to, because now you can see it. Now you're hearing me. You're a little bit, your mouth is a little bit closed. But when my presentation finished, the first, I would say, half of you starting talking. Why? It's very important to observe, because when I start talk, then my attention is outside and not inside. So we should also implement in our life silence. So to finish it with actually in Spanish called step, paso, means the four points that very important that you get a little bit more deep in it. First is observe patient. Patient means also, in my point of view, the science of peace. What takes where I'm not peaceful, where I'm I'm patient. Okay. The next step is fasting. You should at least do intermediate fasting. And then the next step, silence. Silence is very important in life, because when it's silent, then you can hear yourself. Then you can feel your soul. When my attention is outside, I can't feel my soul. It's impossible. And last, not least, it's to be an observer. I have to learn to observe. And observing is actually the true meditation. Not sitting on a cushion and steering on a point on the wall, or to make a certain breathing, is to observe and get to the cause. That's actually true meditation. You have to get to the cause, otherwise it's only distraction. Okay. Right now I'm talking too much and maybe too fast. Let's get some space for questions. I hope there's no questions. Then it's, for me, it's happy, because then everything was very clear. But I think it's I do not make always myself clear. You know.
We may have opened a couple of Pandora's boxes for some folks. Let's see if there's any questions from our audience here. Yes.
Hi, Marcos.
Hi.
You look very good.
I feel good.
Thank you. Thank you for giving your time and being with us. I'm happy to hear your words. That you have very much wisdom to share with us, and it makes really sense. But I just want to have, I just want to ask you, what kind of stuff you're using to communicate with us? That you say that the telephones, we leave the telephones behind, we leave the money behind, but you must have something there to communicate with us, right? Please let me know that. Thank you.
I understand that my words not always clear. I'm talking about that you're reflecting yourself, because I'm in of the generation without cell phone. I was born without cell phone, but the new generation they do not know life without cell phone. So communication was in 50 years ago as well as easy than nowadays, but technology, how I can explain it. When everybody thinks like me, then there is no technology necessary. So nowadays, a lot of people are sleeping or do not understand. Then you use a certain form of communication to explain. For example, I was writing a book to get in touch with everybody, to explain what I'm actually talking about. I'm doing, like right now, a conversation. So that's okay. But I'm looking for the future. That's, of course, right now everybody is a little bit confused. But in the future, we have to go back in tribes. There's no technology. For what, in a tribe where you live with 80 people, for what purpose we need a cell phone? Or for what purpose we need light, at least? No technology. Only communication, but communication with your heart. And when your attention is too much on this virtual world, because everything is virtuality, then you do not feel yourself. So actually, what I'm making as a proposal for the future, because in the future we also have the first step, and the next. Don't get worried, but it's my vision more or less. Next 200 or 300 years, we have to go back where we come from. The first step will be that we only come back to eat fruits. That's the first step. Humanity has to stop cultivating. And of course, nowadays everybody is addicted. And then when I take off the drug, then nobody will understand it. It will be chaos. So my vision is for the future. In the future, there's no need for technology. There's no need for food. There's no need for craving for love. It's only sharing like children do. That's my future. But to go there, it's at least 200, 300 years. But this will be step by step. But we have to have at least a margin or a direction where we are going. So when we're thinking, I use technology, you can see what happened with the cell phone, for example. When you're handing over a cell phone to a child, I would say it's even dangerous when you give him a shot of alcohol, whatever, because the alcohol goes by, but the children go so addicted to the cell phone, to the technology, and when you get to attachment to outside, then you do not feel yourself, you do not hear yourself. And that's actually my vision. Of course, right now we have to use it. That's the form of communication. But even I'm talking there are only a few who really understand what I'm talking about. The most people think it sounds like Chinese or whatever, because I do not understand nothing. But it takes some time. Even if it's clear and simple, it takes some time to digest. But my vision is in the future to go back to a tribal life with no technology, with only sharing and helping each other. That's actually, you can feel it when you are right now in the festival, and you can actually feel this type of spirit a little bit, because you are like in a retreat. You're a retreat right now in this festival, because you're leaving your standard life by searching for money. And now you can see everybody helps each other. You're asking for help. There are at least 10 hands, they're helping you. So that's actually tribal life. That's what I'm actually talking about, and that's the future. But this should be permanent, not only for 2 weeks in once a year. That should be permanent in humanity. And there we have to go into. We have to prepare ourselves for it. And preparing means, of course, less food, no cultivating. That means not more searching for money, sharing, everything else. That's what I actually mentioned. Okay.
Thank you, Marcus. We have another question here.
Hello, Marcus. It was
Hello.
such a pleasure to hear you. My question is about this craving for love, like this need that is rising up. For me, I feeling it sometimes like as a hole inside that want to be filled. And I'm right now like almost 3 years in my pranic journey, and I got this place where I can sometimes play with it. Sometimes I can like I don't have power, so I will just go the easy way just to feed up myself and to fill this hole. And sometimes like I would find a different way. So I want to ask you if you have like anything more to share from your experience, from your knowledge about ways how to handle it, because I see what you are talking about, that in the future we won't need it in this way, but right now we are right now. So humanity like in this place. So if you have any more.
And
everything.
I'm just going to remind everyone to slow down in their talking, because the translators are working really hard to translate everyone. Thank you.
Okay, ready? Okay. First of all, we have to understand why we're searching for love. Everything is causing effect. When I do not understand the cause or try to eliminate the cause, then we'll be always turning around. We are always dancing around the effect, and the effect is you feel something missing in you. But why you think you're missing something? That's actually only only an idea of you, of being you, what you think you are. So that only have to observe. That's actually the point I have always mentioned. Observe who's searching and why I'm searching, in which moment I'm searching it. And every time for example, comes anxiety. One moment comes anxiety, and then you stop. Then you give you time to observe. But mainly when you are in anxiety, you want to stop the anxiety immediately, and then you're searching for a drug or for any distractions. But the point is to get to the core, to get to the cause. Otherwise, you will spinning around and repeating and repeating and repeating. You have to go to the core. And the core is actually that you were taught to search for love. You're copying your parents. Your parents are lumber for love. So now you are lumber, searching for love. I know it's very hard to hear this, but that's actually we are copying them, and because it's the first contact to them, we do not understand much. When, for example, that you can see in tribes where the mothers are not interested in the baby. They care the baby, but they're not interested in. Because now normally the mother is interested in the baby. Interest means That's my son or my daughter. This possessivity, this possession to it's mine. And why? Because the mother is searching for love in the child. So in this moment, transmit, that's actually the heritage of your mom, searching for love. That's nothing, you should not guilt somebody. You have to understand, because the same thing happened to your mom with their parents and their parents and their parents. It's a long queue over there. So we have to stop it from this moment to understand why we're searching it. It makes no sense to search for it. But I'm searching for it because I was programmed to search for love. When I have no interest in my parents, then I'm free for searching. But I have interest in my parents. Why? I have interest in my parents. That's very deep. We have to go to the core. And therefore, you have to observe it constantly. It's not like a switch you can turn it off, on and off, because you have to see it to your whole life. You were programmed to search for love, and stopping search for love is not so easy, what the most people think of. You have to do constant observation of your thoughts and your desire. Because when I crave for something or for somebody or for whatever, why? Why is it? Why I'm thinking I have a hole, because you want to fill up your hole. And that's why is there a hole? Why? And that's only your ego mind. That's your thoughts that brings you in this status. Because when you're in your soul knows everything is love. That makes no sense. So it's only your ego thinking. So have you constantly observing your ego thinking. And that's the true meditation. Meditation means observing. Go to the core. Go to the cause of everything. That's true meditation. And the more you're observing it, the more it's dissolving it by its own. But because you discover, oh, I'm searching for love because my mother taught me it. Oh, no more. I accept it. It's only idea of my mother. It's not my idea. I copied the idea of my mom. My mom taught me this. My mom taught me eating, so I can understand by understanding nutrition. There is no nutrition, then I can get rid of it. When I understand why I'm searching for love, then I can get rid of it. You have also always to get to the core of it. Easy, actually. But the most of the people prefer the drug, something, a stimulation, a quick shot to stop the sensation of anxiety.
Thank you, Marcus. Do we have any other questions here? Yes, we do. I think we're going to go with maybe just one or two more.
Hello, Mark. I liked very
Hello.
much everything you said. I have two questions. Do you have a kind of tribe, as you described, a group of people with whom you can experience what you described before? First question. Second question, where are you mostly living? And where will you be in the next months if you are giving workshop or something like this? Thank you.
Workshops and so on you can find on my website. In the next, from October till end of the year, I will be in Spain, Europe. And maybe next year again, South America, up till Mexico, Costa Rica, even the US. I don't know yet. It's future. For me, is enough. The next 3 months or 4 months. That's enough for me. The tribe. Actually, a lot of people asking me in every retreat. We're talking about the future of humanity, and the future of humanity is a tribal life. But the most people are not ready. You have to understand, when we start a tribe, when you go into a tribe, you have to be clean. Not only clean by food, you have to clean of your mind. Because when your mind is still intoxicated, that means you still have some rage, some hate, or whatever emotion inside you. you contaminate actually the tribe. So of course, my view is to create something in the near future where everything else is spreading out, and maybe I do it by certain levels, because the tribal life, because when you see it nowadays in I don't know the name in English, ecoaldeas, that means communities in the South America. That's very popular even in Europe. That they're communities, and everybody tries to share, but there's still property or something that's mine. There's still the ego. The ego destroys communities. I think last time I was telling it, you did the story about a tribe in Namibia, and close to South Africa, where the tribes actually try to prevent that the ego is growing. And therefore, when you, in the future, we will create it, or from, I would say a small group will starting and spreading it out. Because humanity has to switch from inside to outside. It's my vision. Because when you, nowadays, children are already have their trauma, or their trauma, you said, already inside. They have the heritage, their beliefs from their parents. So from there, they're lost, in my point of view, because they want to try their own experience and so on and so on. So actually, with only older people, that means older, more than 50, because they suffered suffered enough, so they're accepting a change in their lives. So, but I would say also, and from inside this tribe, the children can grow freely. Therefore, also a lot of people asking me, you have children? Not yet. Even last year, you're asking me, and I was not ready, and still not ready. That means I want not to transpass all my believings, or still shadows, what I can still see, some believings in the past, that I do not want to trespass. That means I have to be clear that when I will give space to a child, that I do not transmit anything that I can freely express and live freely. And from there, souls can create the future. That's actually my vision. And from now, by the people right now, that's maybe a low level. That means step by step, because not everybody is accepting. I want still something in a tribe. No, the only thing in a tribe is to share, and that you want the best for the other. That you should get in your mind. But the big trouble is money, and you can see it. As I tried to mention, everybody thinks only by its own. Everybody wants it cheap. And when I want something cheap, I'm thinking about myself. I'm not sharing nothing. And that's this first step. You have to work with yourself about money, about love, and about food. Food is, well, in my point of view, it's the easiest part, because you're only eating less, doing the intermediate fasting. It's very easy, half year, or less than, you eat more or less nothing. But the other parts, your emotional parts, everything what you believe in, you bring into a community, and you try more or less to convince it, because your ego wants always the thinking the best for the others. But that's actually the confusion. No ego mind, no desire, nothing. Then everything comes by its own. To the end. I'm talking too much. I know. But the vision is it very soon. I even opened in my website a point of tribe, where we arrange something where, because the most people have fear about money, but in a tribe, you do not need money. So very easy. But when you're still thinking in money, then it's the point. You should first take care. Money, what you're thinking, food, intermediate fasting, and then your attachments. When you still have attachment, where you want to live in a tribe, and you still have attachments to your child or to your parents or whatever, then there's no tribe living for you. Tribe means there is no family, because everybody is family. That it's the first step you have to understand. And there you have to work first, and the rest will come by its own. It's very easy.